In today's episode, we talk all about having a hot girl summer, but when did that start feeling like pressure instead of fun? So today, we're redefining it. Welcome to the Feeling Good podcast. Welcome to the Feeling Good podcast, where food and fitness is all about feeling good. I'm Alex,
And I'm Sam.
and we're talking all about a hot girl summer today. And I thought because we usually start off with like what beverage or food is exciting you or that you're really liking right now, I thought I would ask, does your coffee order change in the summer?
If you asked me 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, I would have said yes. But I live in a very warm climate, so I no longer order hot coffee anywhere. And so my cold coffee order, I would say, is pretty consistent throughout the year and it stays relatively the same. So, no, I'm not really adventuring out specifically in the summer for coffees. Are you?
I have a lot more iced matchas in the summer.
Interesting, because it, like, feels fresh and light and fun?
I think for some reason, I don't know why, but look, obviously last summer, I was still training for our 2 half marathons, or I did 1 ha I did 2, you did 1. So marathon training ended, 2 half marathons to keep training for through the summer, and for some reason, after a run, I do not want coffee. Like, the thought of it does not sound good. It makes me feel ill just thinking about it, and for some reason, I really want tea, and then so I had a lot of matchas, like, mid-afternoon. So, for some reason, and right now as the weather's getting warmer, it's like my want for matcha is amplified.
Do you feel like you get a caffeine boost from matcha? I know it has caffeine in it, but to me, that's, like, my non-caffeine choice.
Hmm. I guess not noticeably, but I'll be honest, sometimes when I'm ordering a latte at a coffee shop, I'm not, like, bouncing off the walls after.
No, but I wanna be, and that like, if I'm ordering a coffee, like, I wanna be. I have the aspiration and the goal to have a little bit more energy, a little pick me up.
I get that, and I know you do. I know that that is your goal, but sometimes my afternoon coffee, yes, sometimes I need it to, like, get me through the rest of the day, and sometimes it's just, like, the thought, like, I just want something in the afternoon, like, just the thought of having a fun beverage, exciting.
Do you like a really sweet matcha, or do you like the grassy, earthy matcha?
I'm okay with either, like, I'm okay with just, like, a little bit of honey in it, or I'm also okay with, like, a double matcha from somewhere good, like Stagger or Community Goods or Roke. All of those places are in Los Angeles, and you should get a matcha from all of those places.
Alright, you heard it here. Get up to LA.
But anyways, we're talking about a hot girl summer, and I wanna ask you what thoughts come to mind when you hear that.
I love that we're starting this way because I think defining what hot girl summer means is like key in creating it. And so, like I do with every podcast, I was brainstorming what does hot girl summer mean to me? And I really came down to confidence being like a really key piece to it, but also bravery, like the bravery to be your authentic self, to wear what you want to wear, regardless of where you're at in your fitness journey or how you feel about your body, to be brave to like go to the beach and have fun and not hide behind your towel or a big t-shirt. So that's really what I thought of was first confidence and then how do you achieve confidence? And I really think bravery is a really big piece of it.
Kinda just, like, making yourself do it, sorta.
Yeah, no noticing that what your intuition is telling you is like don't do this thing because it's scary and then just doing it anyway.
I completely agree. I think that hot girl summer is a mindset. And that is what I really want to get across in this episode is that hot girl summer is a mindset. And we'll talk about how I feel it's kind of evolved. I feel like it kind of started off as like that's what it is. Exactly what you're saying. It's the confidence to go out there and not hide behind your clothes and your towels and feel like you shouldn't be out having the best summer of your life based on the way you look. That's definitely how I feel it started. And then I feel like it's kind of evolved into something else.
Hmm.
But when I hear it, I'm like, yeah, it's a mindset. It's wearing the shorts and not stopping because of the cellulite on your legs. Newsflash, we all have cellulite on our legs. It's wearing the bathing suit, like you said, without having to cover up with the big t-shirt. It's all of those things to me and to you. And so we're going to talk about how we can achieve that. But I want to first talk about just your past summers. Is there a summer that sticks out to you like that as like the best summer?
I feel like a broken record because I had to have said this before, but growing up in the Pacific Northwest, summer was the pinnacle of life. It was the only few months of the year where you have beautiful sunny weather. The days are long as fuck. Sun's up early, sun goes down at like 9:30, 10 o'clock PM. So as a kid and just growing up there, I had this heightened idea of summer, and I still have that, and I still look at summer as like the time to shine, the time to be outside having fun. And that's not to say that many a summer growing up, I didn't feel insecure. I look back at photos and I feel so bad for that girl who's hiding behind other people in photos, who I can tell feels uncomfortable in her body. And how sad is that to look back at like your younger photos and be able to see your insecurities in a photo as a child. So I still have this heightened idea of summer, but I have this subdivision of summer where I really had to, well, I either embraced my insecurity and it made a difference in my summer plans and experience, or I learned to push past it. And I think both can be true. But it's a roller coaster. Like, I'm sure there were some years where I embraced all of it and pushed my comfort zone, and then there were other summers where I didn't, and not one sticks out specifically on, like, I didn't, but, I mean, I look back in photos and I see it, so it had to have been there.
I definitely think for people who lived where their winters are really cold, and I'm assuming Seattle's winters are cold, but also it's just rainy and wet a lot of the time, and then you had this, like, peak summer, it's like where the weather was so good. I feel like anyone who really deals with seasons has this amplified thoughts, like, when it comes to summer. It's so exciting because it was truly the best time ever because you could go outside. Whereas I don't feel that same way because I there's not very many seasons in California. I mean, yes, of course it rains, but it's not but the good weather starts in March and goes all the way through, November.
Yeah, it's so crazy to think of, and I'm sure you think that what I had was crazy, which was like an indoor school.
Yeah.
And you had a fully outdoor school, like, which is was so cool to me because I only saw that on, like, TV, like the OC or Laguna Beach.
Okay, yeah, but I thought indoor schools were so cool. You had hallways and lockers, and everyone just saw each other passing through hallways. That was TV. Like, that was TV high school.
You know what else I think about though with having that heightened summer experience is that, and you don't always think about, okay, well, what's the contrast to that the rest of the year? And I think you have these really high summer vibes, and then you have the really low winter energy. And that whole cycle, whether you are aware of it or not, it does play into, oh, I got to get ready for summer because the weather's changing. Whereas for you, I feel like you probably didn't have that summer's coming, gotta, do XYZ to feel and look a certain way.
I was thinking about because I knew I was gonna ask you, like, what when you think of summer, what is, like, that best summer that comes to mind? And for you, it just seems like all of kind of childhood summer was is nostalgic for you. For me, I was trying to think of the best summer. And I think it was probably your junior year of high school going into your senior year because no one has moved away yet for school. You have a job. barely, but you have a job, so you have, like, gas money and money to, like, buy food and whatever. You're not doing anything crazy. You don't have adult money, but you have enough money to, like, leave the house and go do things with your friends, and I feel like that's probably the summer that's most nostalgic for me, and it's like you carry that feeling as an adult, like, you still think, "Oh my god, summer's coming," but it's
Mhm.
like, you don't have summer break, like, not much changes in the summer other than, thank god the sun's out and, like, your personality comes back, but it's like you're always chasing this summer feeling of really your past summers.
It's kind of like your first love where, like, there's no other big things in your life, like, this is the big thing. It's everything, and you don't have the distraction of a job or responsibility of, like, I live by myself, I have to pay all these bills, I have this job. There's nothing else except for your excitement for another person, or in this case, a season, or your plans with your friends, or, going out on, like, a friend's boat, or going to whatever dock and hanging out, and who's gonna be there, and the music, and all of that. I miss it, but also I feel like I've had a lot of that with not living in California, but coming to visit frequently, like that similar excitement for like, "Okay, I'm in this place that I really wanna be," which I think is hard to recreate as you get older.
It is, I think you have to be way more intentional about it, but if you can't tell, Sam loves summer.
I love summer. If someone described me as summer, like, as a season of summer, I would be so thrilled.
That's such a compliment. To me, that would mean, like, you're such a bubbly person and you're like a ray of sunshine, and I don't really know if that's me.
Everything's good in summer, and, of course, you feel a little bit of pressure to uphold that in a lot of ways, and again, like, coming from somewhere that is rainy majority of the year, there's that anticipation, and you have the time preparation of, like, "Okay, what can I do to amplify, like, this season and this time so that I feel really good, and I think I look really good, and I get to wear all the fun things." Like, I understand, I've been there many a summers of, like, how can I make this the best? And I think that's what Hot Girl Summer is. It's this attempt and effort to make this summer so good.
And I think a lot of people do love summer for all of the fun reasons, that summer brings. But I also think that it brings a ton of anxiety for people because they're now going to be shedding the sweatpants and the sweatshirts that they've been living in. And the thought of having to do that, the thought of having to like put their body out there is terrifying, which is where
Mhm.
these like summer shreds come in. And I want to make it so very clear that having goals, there's nothing wrong with having goals. It's when you feel like you have to do all these things in order to enjoy the ocean, to go on the vacation, to wear the shorts, feeling like you have to shrink yourself in order to then enjoy the thing. It's like, I'll enjoy it once I do this thing. Like, there is a difference between, like, I have some goals, I'm excited for these goals, versus, like, I won't enjoy my summer, I won't enjoy my vacation unless I'm this big.
Well, I think this really, like, loops back to our first episode of what's the thing you want and what's the path to get there, and sometimes we think the path to, let's say, for example, confidence is a body type, is a body size, and I can tell you from personal experience that that is not the case, and that is something that is a lesson I've had to learn quite a few times, and ultimately, that's where, when I say confidence and I thought of bravery as like an element of that, like that's where I'm coming from when I say that is confidence is not looking a certain way in a bikini. It's not, a size or a shape. It's simply, like you said, a mindset or a perspective.
Yeah, but it's so hard to know that when you haven't done that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely know what you mean, but at the same time, how many times, and I'm talking to everybody here, how many times have you worked for a summer body or a vacation body and maintained it, right? Or even picked up an exercise class or nutrition something and stuck with it. I think all of those things are building blocks to build your confidence up if it's something that you're able to maintain, as opposed to here's a quick band aid for this thing that I hope will help me achieve this bigger goal that is
Right.
confidence.
There is such a difference between healthy, sustainable weight loss, eating to support your goals versus the extreme. And when it is done purely based out of just looks, I mean, it goes back to if you guys ever heard, I guess, the first episode where you have your why, that is really what it's going to
Mhm.
come down to. Because if it's just solely based on how you look, it is so hard to maintain that.
There are 2 things that I think of in the context of this conversation. The first is some especially going into summer, if your goal is to, let's say, lose 10 pounds and you think that's going to transform your confidence, it's gonna make you feel so much better. It's actually gonna do so very little, especially if you are not weightlifting, have been building muscle, building these healthier habits. There was this really popular analogy, and I do think about it sometimes. I don't know how popular it is now, but if you don't weight lift and you just plan on wanting to like lose fat, it's like a breadstick going or a baguette turning into a breadstick. It's the exact same thing, but just like a smaller version. And I think when people want to lose weight, they want curves, they want muscle, they want to look a very certain way, and it's different from the way that they look now. And they don't think about muscle being a big component to that. In a roundabout way, this is me trying to just stress the importance of like building muscle for many reasons. But I think this might be a gateway for a lot of people of the shape that you might want is more a reflection of your habits than necessarily a weight loss, simple, I'm going to lose 10, 20 pounds.
Absolutely. So, like I said, I feel like Hot Girl Summer has kind of evolved a little bit, or I kind of want to use the word devolve, but you start seeing narratives pushed come summer of shrinking yourself, earning your summer, right? So, you start dieting, you start overtraining, you start seeing a lot of language, or at least I have been lately, of full day of eating to stay skinny. And you start seeing this narrative pop up come summertime. And yes, you absolutely, if you do have goals, you want to start those ahead of whenever your thing is, right? Vacation, summer. You want to start far in advance. So you do start seeing some messaging
Mhm.
come up to remind you of that. But I just teeter this line of having goals and then when it becomes problematic. And lately, I feel like we're really on the other side of it's becoming problematic. Like, what's some messaging that you think of that you see people start to say come, summertime?
The emergence of skinny talk, I feel like started to happen last spring. And so like that's what I remember is all of these sayings that were popping up that even I remember from when we were little of, oh, nothing tastes as good as skinny feels, or a moment on the lips, a lifetime on the hips,
I
like those
forgot
types of
about that
things.
one.
Things that like when you're young, you're like, that makes so much sense. You're like, oh, it's an aha moment. And I hate that that's happening for anyone ever, but I think it's happening again for people where something really like hits them where it hurts and you can't for like it hits you in a way that it now becomes like a pillar of your thought process when it comes to thinking about food or thinking about exercise. It really steers you away from a healthier objective, bringing back like to confidence of like what helps me feel really confident. And I hear people say this all the time, but it couldn't be more true. When you commit to something and you actually follow through with it, that is the biggest confidence builder that I've ever experienced, whether that was applying for college and graduating college or joining a sports team and sticking through it through the entire season, like little things like that that I had throughout my childhood. And then also as an adult, committing to, okay, I'm going to go to the gym on this day and then actually doing it even when I don't freaking want to, especially when I've maybe had a season where I've been going less and you're not getting that initial positive feedback right away. It's actually really difficult the first couple of weeks. You don't want to be anywhere, you want to be anywhere but at the gym, but you have to like push through that really difficult time to then start to feel the benefits of what you're doing. But committing to something and actually doing whatever it is that commitment is so confidence building.
The more that you start actually following through with what you say you're going to do, the more you start to believe in yourself. And obviously, the opposite is true. You set a goal, you don't follow through with it, you're going to keep setting goals. And in the back of your mind, know that you're not going to go through with it. And it is so
Mhm.
very real.
Totally.
I did want to circle back to when you said a moment on your lips is forever on your hips, and you said something like when you're young, you're like, "Oh my god, that's so true." But we really underestimate how much it still affects you, unfortunately, even as you get older, even as you become wiser, even as you realize the problems that all of these sayings have, they 1000% stick in the back of your mind.
Yeah, I mean, I've still definitely internalized a lot of that in terms of even fat phobia, like being fearful of weight gain, looking at it as a negative thing or certain foods as bad, like all of that lingers around and it can be so exhausting to have to counter those thoughts and feelings
Mhm.
all the time. Like it can just be exhausting and so then you're presented with media and or people in your life who are regurgitating that information and it becomes like there's an extra layer of difficulty too of pushing past that and being like no that's actually wrong, that's actually wrong.
Right, and I think that you can think that you're so past it, and then you go to eat that thing that you saved in the fridge, and all of a sudden, this thing in the back of your mind, even though you realize that, like, or at least you thought you were past it, it goes, "Ugh, you know what? This might go to my hips." And then you put it down. Like, we really underestimate how much that still affects you even as you get older. And the more messaging you see online that like pushes those narratives, obviously, the more it's just going to infiltrate your brain. And so my best piece of advice would be like try to get your algorithm as far away from that as possible. And then of course, there's only so much you can do because it's like surrounded. It's everywhere right now.
Yeah, have you been seeing a lot of it pop up?
Right now I'm seeing a lot of actually, yeah, today I saw something directed. I was going to say that I've seen a lot of, like I mentioned earlier, full day of eating, how I stay skinny. I've seen a lot of comments being like, seeing a picture of a celebrity on the red carpet and then saying, I'm not eating anymore. I'm starting to see a lot of just like quick little jabs. But today, this morning scrolling, just woke up and I saw it was a comedic video. Like, they were being funny. They were, but they weren't. That's the best way I could say that.
What was the context, like can you provide more
I know, I
information?
don't want to, like, pinpoint like, I don't know if anyone would be able to find it, but the words on the screen were like, "I just remembered summer's 2 months from now," and it was a video of them doing something to try to lose weight very, very, very quickly was the point of it, and then all of the comments are, like, supporting it. It reiterates the same thought that you have to look a certain way to enjoy summer, and that's not what Hot Girl Summer is all about.
No, I agree. It's definitely more of like an energy.
Yes.
And I'm feeling a little bit triggered too with content I'm seeing about Coachella because it is like the influencer Olympics and everyone's doing like their try ons for like these crazy outfits that I know I would never feel comfortable in. But I've had to learn, and this is like definitely like I had a huge growing or like learning moment in college because I went to college in like the worst time for women, I swear. Well, probably not. That would be like when women couldn't go to college. But but we were wearing teeny tiny outfits, huge pumps, like just the most uncomfortable thing that you could think of. And I bought into it and I was like, I have to do this, even though that's not me. That was never comfortable. And I look back on it and I'm like, wow, like that's a moment I was college for me was probably some of the most insecure years of my life. And it was because I was trying to be something I thought other people wanted, or I was trying to be somebody else just in general. And that brought me the most insecurity of probably any season of my life. I was trying to figure out who I was. And at the same time, I wasn't being myself. I wasn't being true and authentic and actually learning who I was. I was trying to build this idea of who I could be. And I watch, these Coachella videos and I think, oh, like this is what I should do at Coachella because I'm going weekend two and I'm very excited. But I am not doing that because that's not me. Like, that's not how I would authentically want to show up as myself. That would be me trying to fit a mold of what I thought I needed to be in a certain space. And I think that that's true for everybody. The more you try and fit a space instead of fit who you are, the more uncomfortable you're gonna be in any space.
Totally, absolutely uncomfortable the more that you try to be something that you aren't. And I could not imagine you dressing up as a little butterfly at Coachella because, listen, she didn't even want to dress up for Halloween. She
Facts.
refused to wear a wig.
Well, I draw the line at a wig.
I don't think that we should be pushing anyone outside of their comfort zone when it comes to like how they feel about their body and like what they're wearing. But let's just say that somebody is trying to get you out of your comfort zone and they want you to take off that t-shirt that you have on. It's, let's say it's your close friend. Like they want you to get the tan that you actually want at the beach. Yeah, in that moment, you truly need to decide like, am I doing this for me or am I doing this for everyone around me? And I think that goes right back to talking about these summer goals, okay, with like shredding and all of these thoughts that people have around summer. It 100% ties into, am I doing this for me or am I doing this for people around me? I think that goes for any goal, right?
Mhm. Yeah. I remember, I don't know how many summers ago, but I had this thought of, okay, I'm just so insecure and my body fluctuations were all over the place. And I was like, what do I want to do? Like, what is my ideal summer? And I've had summers where I'm buried behind a book. I have my body down in the sand. I'm just tanning because heaven forbid someone see anything move on my body, like skin, fat, whatever, right? Like heaven forbid someone sees my body. And I've thought about like those summers of like I just want to like feel comfortable playing games in the sand. I want to say yes to having fun at the beach. And to me, it's both. Like I enjoy reading and hanging out and sitting in the sun, but I also really love movement. And why would I deprive myself of that thing if it's something I really want to do? And so half of that is mentally overcoming that barrier and having the bravery to be confident and to have fun. Then the other element to me too is if I want to play games, like, is there a fitness level to this? Like, and I wanna feel competent at doing something, whether it's beach volleyball or swimming in the ocean. I always wanna feel physically fit, right? So, there is a physical side to that confidence of, "Oh, I can go in the water, I can be in the waves, I can swim around to this cove and feel confident doing that." And there is an element, I think, of physicality to that.
Right. And that, in my opinion, is the difference of feeling like you need to shrink yourself versus feeling strong and capable
Mhm,
and energetic. When I think of a hot girl summer
mhm,
and think about prepping for a summer, I think about how can I be out there in my summer, wherever you are, you're at the beach, you're at the mountains, you're on vacation, doing whatever you do in summer. How can I feel my strongest? How can I feel capable? How can I feel confident? And how can I feel energetic? That's what I want to bring to summer. I think it really does like a 180 on the like, how can I shrink for summer? It's like, how can I feel good in my body this summer? I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
mhm,
I think you absolutely, most people, I'm not going to deny the fact that most people would want to feel good in your body in the summer. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I
mhm,
think it's normal. But I think there's a difference of the feeling good and then the straight up shrinking yourself for summer. Because feeling strong and capable does not
mhm.
necessarily mean weight loss at all.
Is there a specific workout routine that to you helps you feel really strong and energized? Because I definitely have, like, a plan for, like, how I wanna feel really good in the summer, and it is a combination of strength and conditioning, which is kinda like this the next thing I'm gonna do as far as, like, programming goes is do a little bit of strength and do a little bit of cardio because that feels really good. So I am excited about switching up my training a little bit leading into summer, but also like I miss being really sweaty and like doing some cardio, but also I know I want to maintain my strength and that also feels really good maintaining a strong range of motion.
I think I agree. I agree with you. I've said it on here so many times. I love a sweaty garage gym summer workout. I've said it too, love running in the summer. There's something about the sun and the sweating that I just crave. And I think with the season changing, like you said, there is this like being covered up, being kind of depressed, being kind of down in the winter. Things are a little bit slower. And then all of a sudden you start like coming out of this shell in the as the weather gets warmer, as we head into summer. And I think it's natural. I think it's normal when it's darker outside to like want to move a little bit less and then all of a sudden like want to be sweaty, want to be moving, want to be pushing. So I do think that there is a natural element of it's summertime, let's sweat, let's push our weights, let's do cardio. I think that's all fine. I think it's 1000% fine.
Or even doing a little bit of strength in the morning and then going and playing games at the beach or at a park or, using summer and stretching what your idea of activity
Yeah.
even looks like and saying, "Oh, I can move not just at the gym. I can go to a park. I can do all these things. I can pick up a soccer game. I can get my friends to go play kickball or whatever. Like they're pickleball, right? Let's bring pickleball back. I don't know if it ever left, but I feel like it did for
Right.
us."
Takes me right back to like being strong and capable. And I think that in my opinion, I think following any plan, truly just having a plan will lead you towards feeling stronger and feeling more capable. I think people tend to be more active in the summer, maybe away from the gym a little bit less because you want to be outside. I think all of these things lead you towards feeling more energized and boosting your mood, feeling stronger, feeling more capable.
And I think even just tying that into like this, we were trying to define hot girl summer and what do like really confident people like what that energy, like how can you just marinate in it and just be like the most confident version of yourself? And again, like a part of that is a mindset of like, I'm not going to let my insecurities take the summer away from me. I'm not going to let it take this season or this age. We may never be hotter than we are right now. Like just really embracing life and not letting social media or hopefully not your friends. Hopefully your friends are super supportive and they don't bash themselves all the time. I also think as important as self-talk is, your talk with your friends and your community, like if you have someone who's constantly putting themselves down in your friend group, I think that has a trickle down effect to everybody. So just being a positive person, and if let's say someone in your group is like a little negative Nancy, be the opposite to that. Be like the most like, okay, you said something negative, I'm going to say 10 things positive, right? Just being that positive energy I think is also just
Right.
hot girl
And
summer,
not being afraid to be like, "Hey, you can't say that around me."
for sure. I've clocked myself saying some stuff where I'm like, "Damn, I, like, can't believe that, like, it just came out of my mouth." I'm like, so like, who is she? I'm glad that I'm catching myself doing it, and then I gotta say 10 things positive. Commit to the bit, and then it just becomes who you are. I don't think it's a bad thing, and then you're not just hot girl summer, you're just hot girl always, like, just prepped and don't you have to get ready if you stay
Ooh,
ready.
I like that one. We've come to the conclusion that like we want to redefine hot girl summer back from what I feel it personally started as, and then it kind of like has moved to just shrinking, shrinking, shrinking. And then we're redefining it again. So we're going to go from shrinking, smaller, to stronger, more energized. We're going to try to go from restricting and dieting to nourishment. And what I like to say with that, I'm not going to spend too much time here, but I like to think about all the things I could add to my diet before taking away from your diet. So often people will be like, I'm eating too much carbs, I'm eating too much fat, I needed to take that away. Instead, be like, okay, well, am I eating enough fiber? We could start there. Am I, eating any fruit? Let's start adding fruit to my breakfast. Am I eating vegetables with every meal? And then start adding these things. Am I eating protein? And you'll realize that probably naturally with adding all these things, you have like readjusted a little bit. So we can go from restricting to nourishment. We can go from aesthetics, like just trying to have the most aesthetic summer, whether that mean like what you're trying to post online or the clothes that you're wearing or the way that you look, to experience. How can I experience the best summer regardless of aesthetics? And oftentimes when you're having like the best experience, you might not always be looking the best. Like you might have had a really long day, you look a little crazy. Like you're not worrying about those things when you're having a great experience. And then trying to control every little aspect of everything, moving that to confidence, confidence in yourself. And again, like Sam said, usually has nothing to do with the way you look. And it 1000% starts with the inside, as cliche as that sounds.
I like all of it. I think it's all great. I think, like, anytime you can add instead of take away, like, mentally, that just feels better.
When do you personally feel best in your body? And I'll be honest, I think Sam is 1000% confident in a bathing suit. Whereas, like, I feel the opposite. I feel like I'm not comfortable in the bathing suit, but I feel like Sam would be willing to wear a bathing suit all day, every day for the rest of her life.
I'll march across the street in a bathing suit, like, I just, like, don't care, which is funny because I didn't grow up in California with that as, like, my norm, but I think I've learned to just be like, "I don't care," because I think a piece of it is recognizing nobody else does, and at least I'm living in that reality that I've created for myself of, like, nobody else cares, no one else is looking at me and thinking anything about me. I'm like everybody else on the beach wearing a bikini, like, that just doesn't stick out to me, at least in the way that, like, I'm outwardly going to change my comfortability or what I wanna wear, what I wanna do to appease somebody else's maybe even comfort zone. And I will say, like, I do feel insecure, but I don't again, I just don't do anything about it. It's not something that I'm gonna let dictate my actions, my feelings. I might have a moment where I'm like, don't feel super great right now, but again, I don't let it change anything. So I'm
Yeah,
glad that it appears that way because but also that is a core belief of mine, which is that if it's not hurting anybody else and I wanna do something, I'm gonna do it.
couldn't agree more. And back to what you were saying with you coming across confident in a swimsuit, whether you feel that way or not in the moment when you're wearing it on that day, after that meal, whatever the hell. Yeah, 100%. I think that you seem confident in your bathing suit. I feel so uncomfortable in a bathing suit pretty much always. Like, rarely am I like, yeah, I love putting on a bathing suit. I don't know what it is. There's something about the fit of a bathing suit that, like, I wish the fit of the bottoms were the same as the fit as your underwear. Why can't they figure that out? The seamlessness of, like, a seamless thong versus a swimsuit, I don't know, it's not the same. Why do you feel like a completely different person when you put your swimsuit on?
Do you feel like you could actually get away with wearing your underwear to a beach? Because I do.
Mhm.
Can we talk about how expensive swimsuits are these days? Just in
I know.
general.
I know. Yeah, I know, swimsuits are outrageous. They're outrageous, but I do think that feeling good in your swimsuit is a key to hot girl summer. So I will say that having or splurging
Yes.
on a swimsuit and return it. Like if it's like you're like this wasn't worth the money, definitely return it. But splurging on a suit in my opinion for me has made summer much more enjoyable because a bathing suit that does not fit you right you are absolutely never gonna wanna wear, never wanna take off your shorts
Mhm.
at the beach. You're gonna feel uncomfortable, end of story. Same goes for your shorts. If you're buying shorts that don't fit you, they're too small, they're too tight, they're too short, again, you're going to feel uncomfortable. I think that finding clothing that fits right is key to a hot girl summer.
I was also gonna say, I think that denim shorts should be outlawed at the beach. I might wear them, maybe, a couple times, but just know that it's under duress, and I did not elect it, I had no other
Ugh,
options because you have a wet swimsuit, you're gonna put on jeans on the way to the car? Gross. Gross. Don't do it. It's the worst, and actually, that would put me in a bad mood, so that's not a part of my hot girl summer. Instead, I really think I'm gonna lean into skirts this summer. I have my long white one, and I love it, like, I could live in that thing.
we should talk about a few things that are, like, key to feeling good in the summer and that have nothing to do with, like, the way your body looks. One, yes, finding clothes that make you feel right. Like they make sure you're buying the size that fits right and feels right on your body. The last thing you want to do, this has got to be a girl's worst experience, is a pair of denim shorts that are so tight and you're sitting in the car and when it's like tight, not only on your waist, but like your thighs and like the crotch area, everything just hurts wearing the denim shorts. The worst experience. Worst experience. And yes, Sam is right. Wearing jean shorts to the beach, no, I am all about linen shorts to the beach or linen pants or like
Mm.
sweat shorts, like your comfy lounge shorts. You should be able to pop those bad boys on and off and not feel like your swimsuit's being taken off with it.
You also really like an oversized shirt, and I actually just bought a bunch from Abercrombie Men's. In case you haven't noticed, if you're not watching this podcast, I'm wearing one right now. Extra large. I can't remember the name of the exact style, but I bought like 5 because I bought one and I was like, I actually really like this. I think you were doing that all last summer.
You obviously can just throw it on your way out and it's covering your butt, it's covering everything. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. And again, throw those on with linen shorts or linen pants and you look like you were meant to go to the beach. Like that is what a beach day like is meant to look like.
I also think that we are old enough, mature enough to possibly invest in an umbrella this summer
Okay, that also goes into another
for
thing
the
that will
summer.
make you feel your best on a hot girl summer is wearing SPF. Now, I know that you think that you don't want to wear SPF because it's summer and you want to be tan, but you will still get tan with SPF. And what I heard, I have no idea if this is true. I'm just reiterating information that I heard, is that the amount of tan that you get with sunscreen on is the amount of tan that your body like allows for.
Yeah, it's like your natural set point.
Another thing I like to do in the summer is get my toes done. I always get I always get a manicure cuz I do feel more put together when my nails are done, but I don't always have my pedicure up to date considering this winter time. Like maybe you're wearing sandals, I am wearing sandals in the winter, but the summer is when I really like am religious about it. I go every single month and for me, that makes me feel more put together in the summer.
I'm gonna add being prepared with a variety of beverages, some snacks. Never go to the beach with nothing. You gotta have a little cooler, bring some ice packs, come prepared because nothing is worse that for me than getting the putting the effort into getting to the beach and then you're like, I'm starving, gotta go, right? Don't want to go, but gotta go because I'm so thirsty or I'm so hungry. And I know not every beach town is like this. I'm sure there's, well, if you live by the beach, then it's easy. But if you drive to the beach and you put the time and the effort into waiting for a spot, getting the parking, walking to the beach, like it's not low effort. So come prepared, just do like a little bit more so that you can have more fun, be a little bit more carefree at the beach or at the park or wherever, and that like adds to like just a better energy.
Another thing I do for a hot girl summer mindset is having things that you can look forward to that summer. So, try to do this weekly if you can. You're probably still working and your week is still busy, but not letting the summer just pass you by. Like a key element to a hot girl summer are your experiences.
Mhm.
Even that doesn't have to mean like you're going on vacation. That can just mean like you're doing a sunset walk with your friends on Friday night when you get off work, or you're going to enjoy brunch on Sunday with your family.
Yeah, I'm looking up my summer checklist from years past. Let me see if I have any examples. Well, like, as far as, like, things that you would put on your list of doing stuff, what would be on your list?
1000% catch as many sunsets as I can. Easy one to do. Like you can do that from anywhere, is basically what I mean. I would love like some brunch or some sunset drinks, things that you can't do in the winter due to like bad weather. So being out, honestly, being outside as much as you can. And the key to a hot girl summer is
Mhm.
being outside if for me, for my hot girl summer is being outside as much as I can, enjoying all of the summer, all that summer has to offer. So, making sure that you have something on the horizon to look forward to, even if it's something as simple as a sunset walk, will make your summer so much more enjoyable. And again, it has nothing to do with the way you look.
Alright, well, I couldn't find my list. I'll make a new one for this summer and maybe I'll post it to, like, stories or something, but on previous lists, I do know I love to do, like, a yearly bonfire with s'mores, and, we did a cooking class one year, which was very fun, adding different food spots or different beaches, different coffee spots, essentially or even, like, hiking sunset spots. I think takes the attention away, like you were saying, from what you look like, and it's more about what you're doing, which to me is what life is all
And
about.
absolutely what a hot girl summer is all about. But I don't want to pretend that it's not easy to want to fall into changing your body for summer. It's obviously very easy to see all of this online, hear what we're saying here. It's a mindset. Get outside. Like, don't worry about the way you look. Do all these things that have nothing to do with the way you look. That's
Mhm.
all easier said than done. Like, you're taking in all this information online, comparing your body, seeing things, seeing bodies that you wish that you had, and all of this starts to just like seep into your mind. So, what is something that you do, I guess, personally, when you feel like you start to like slip back into some negative thoughts or thoughts about like, changing your body in a not meaningful way?
Yeah, I mean, that's super relatable even to me now of just even being on social media, seeing whether it's a transformation or you're like you were saying earlier, a full day of eating, and whether it's consciously or subconsciously, like, I certainly am having those thoughts and those feelings, but whenever like, let's just say I come to you and say, "Ugh, I really wanna lose weight for summer," or I really wanna feel my best." What does that actually mean? So, peeling apart the initial reaction and dissecting, "Okay, I'm saying this thing, but what do I really mean? What do I really want?" Because I'm saying this, but the reality of what I'm really looking for isn't necessarily tied to a number on the scale or a size. It's so much more tied to how I feel about myself and how I feel within my body, whether that's from a strength or a conditioning aspect. Like, do I feel strong? Do I feel capable? Do I feel like I'm putting good food into my body and I feel energized and I feel focused? Or am I feeling unmotivated? Am I feeling distanced from like the gym and goals and wanting to be there? Like, what I'm looking for is like this excitement for life that I think is built up by certain habits that I like and that may help me feel that way. So I think we all will say, maybe not always, like maybe there'll become a point in my life where I genuinely don't have a single thought or a feeling about my size, but I might say or feel this way sometimes, but it's truly just breaking it down and saying, okay, but what do I really mean when I say that? Do you have like a similar thought process or like do you say things like that, like internally or externally?
I'm really noticing with this just resurgence of thinness online that I am being more critical of my body, which is feels crazy to me because I love nothing more than feeling strong and capable in my body. So it's can happen to anybody, like, no matter how far past it you think that you are, it just seeps in there.
Well, I also wanna say I'm shocked to hear that from you because I've never heard a peep about you feeling a certain way about I mean, maybe around marathon, just feeling like, "Oh my god, what the hell?" But I feel like you're so even keel in general, and you're so grounded, so it's surprising for me even to hear that come from you, which I think is really powerful for not just me, but for other people probably too, that, like, we're all the same. We all struggle, but also, like, talk to your friends. I think that, like, maybe saying it out loud is helpful to not just say it, but peel back the layers, because if someone comes to you and they say that, ask them, like, what do you mean by that?" Right? Like, get them to open up about it because I do think it's really helpful.
Being aware, like you just said, of, like, what does that really mean? So, like, for me, I'll see someone wearing a dress or shorts that, like, I know I don't look like that. And first of all, I'm 5 feet tall, we'll just start there. They're 5'7", like, I'll never look like them, my legs will never look like them. Like, that's something I've dealt with my whole life is, like, I'm not going to look like that person. And with, like, the extreme thinness that we're seeing on red carpets and online, it's really easy to be like, "Oh, I love those shorts. Oh, but I'm not gonna look like that." Like, I'm not gonna buy that because I obviously don't look like that. And just to, like, be honest, yeah, I see tank tops and stuff online when I'm shopping and I go, "Well, my arms aren't gonna look like that model, so I don't buy it." Like, that is just a that's a reality.
I've heard you say a couple of times like, "Oh, this tank top looks this way on this girl, it won't look that way on you." But, like, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with you looking like you in
Right.
that top as opposed to you looking like this other person? Because quite literally, you'll
But
never.
that goes back to wearing the shorts, even though you have, the cellulite on your legs. And it's crazy because the more that you do all of those things, the easier it becomes to do all those things. And then you're not questioning whether you should wear these things or not. But it's about getting yourself, it's like exposure therapy.
I have been somebody who many a times has said, "I'll wear this when." Like, I'll wear
Hmm.
the shorts,
Hmm.
I'll wear the bikini when I look a certain way. And what I've learned, especially just with, like,
Hmm.
getting older, is it's always gonna be something new. Whether it's an insecurity that, like, "Oh, my legs are too big," or, "Now my legs have too much cellulite." There's always gonna be something new that you're like, "Oh, but now I can't." And I don't think that you have to wear anything necessarily, but if you're suffocating wearing pants at the gym or to the beach or whatever, let your legs go, let them be free, and I think starting with, "Okay, I don't like the size of my legs," like, let it go. It's gonna be something else later. Like, let a lot of these things go, like, start small and test the waters, recognize, like, "No one's looking at me, like, I have no reason to feel insecure," like, be in the elements, try and focus less inwardly on what you look like and focus a little bit more on, like, the experience and the world around you, which is hard when we're spending so much time with like a screen in our face and so much time just in our thoughts, right? Like go quite simply go touch grass.
And the crazy thing is, I quite literally couldn't tell you what anybody else was wearing anywhere ever.
Yeah.
But I mean, but that's true. All I care about and all I've thought about was how my bathing suit is on me and
Yeah,
are my shorts
totally.
fitting right on
Yep,
me
yep.
and it's me, 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 me. And I quite literally could not tell you what someone else was wearing. And if somebody is thinking about what you're wearing, that's on them because that's crazy. If somebody is listening right now saying they don't feel ready for summer, whatever that means, they don't feel ready for it, well, let's say, like, physically, based on how they look. What would you say to them right now?
I would probably ask a few more questions and see, are you more neglecting your physical health or your mental health? And then I would start with either of those two that maybe is the most slipping through the cracks, because sometimes going for a walk is the answer. Sometimes sitting and journaling or talking to a therapist, talking to a friend is the answer to feeling better, right? So it really depends. And So there would be more questions if that was kind of the approach of like, okay, where are we really slacking and where can we pick up some of the rope that's been lost or whatever phrasing you want to use for that one.
That's a crazy saying that you just said. I don't feel like I've ever heard that. Yeah.
Pick up the rope? There's gotta be. There's gotta be. I gotta look it up now. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah, drop the rope. It's a theme park strategy. So not at all related to what I was talking about. Drop the ball is really that's what I was going for. Drop the ball. Yeah. So whatever you've dropped the ball on, whether it's like investing and protecting your mental health or your physical health, because both can make you feel ill prepared for anything. Sometimes movement is the answer. Sometimes sleep is the answer. Sometimes talking to a friend, or probably more helpful would be a therapist, mental health expert. Maybe it's even medication. I don't know. But what would you say? What would be your initial response?
I like what you said about checking in on like, are we neglecting physical or are we neglecting mental? Are we neglecting a little bit of both? And then it's a really good starting point on like what it is truly that you're saying, getting to the bottom of it, the root cause, and understanding that I can say all these things to you. Like I can say that a hot girl summer is a mindset and that feeling strong and capable will lead you to having a great summer versus the way that you look. But at the end of the day, only you can start to change those inside thoughts that you have. And muting the people who are causing you to have those negative thoughts, or like changing the channel when you see that on there, starting to control some of your, I guess, external factors that are making you have these internal thoughts is a great place to start. And then turning inwards and, like Sam said, looking at all of those like health markers, doing all those things that you know makes you feel good. And if that's like, I feel my best when I go to the gym twice a week, but I haven't been going to the gym twice a week, then it's understandable why you're not feeling right in your body. Or you feel best when you go to your therapy session once a week and you haven't been going to like there's so many things that is your baseline of feeling good. And if you don't know, then that's like your time to start. Like if you don't have a baseline, you don't know where to start when it comes to feeling good. What would you say some simple health markers are, or things that somebody can do who truly doesn't know where to start? They're listening to this Hot Girl Summer episode. They want to feel good in their body. They don't know what those things are, though. They don't have a routine. They don't have anything set where they have this baseline yet. Where would you have them start?
It's difficult to establish a starting point because my feel good routine has been established through basically a decade of me doing a lot of the same stuff and just tweaking it a little bit here and there. But I've spent a lot of time building the foundation. And I think that that's the hardest part, is starting from square one and needing to build a foundation. And that foundation is building muscle, building strength, being in the gym. And I say that like I had this thought of, okay, you're starting from square one. You maybe don't have a lot of training experience. You haven't made time for activity as much as you would like to. And I do think that maybe this summer might not be, well, it'll be an improvement. But I think every summer after is going to continue to be an improvement on that, this whole concept of like a hot girl summer. Like every year you're going to feel better and better, which is just what I've experienced based on having, let's say, the first summer where I started to train more, and especially strength training, weight training, and maybe I improved my summer by 10%. And then I continued to follow those habits through the winter. And then the next summer that came along, I improved that by 10%. And my confidence level went up by 10%. And because I'd continued that foundation through the year to build on it, to where now my confidence is at like a 70 or an 80, where it used to be down at like a 5 or 10%. But a big bulk of that is the confidence that I built throughout the year. I know this is not what you asked, but this is what you're getting, which is build a foundation and kind of know that, like, okay, maybe this first summer, I'm not going to expect myself to be the most confident I've ever been necessarily or ever will be, but it's a start. It's starting small and just grabbing like little things that will eventually turn into a much more part, like a bigger part of your lifestyle, but it doesn't need to start out that way. As long as your ambition isn't, I'm going to become a whole new person by summer, which I think is a better approach than just trying to transform your life all at once.
And I like to think, what can I add to my routine? Instead of just thinking restrict, what do I need to take away? What am I doing wrong? What are all the things I need to stop doing? Instead, think about all the things that you can add to your life. It brings such a positive spin to it. Your brain doesn't associate it with you're taking everything away from me, you're going into a scarcity mentality, everything's changing. Adding anything positive, your walks, a workout, vegetables, protein.
When I think of things that I've added, strength training has to be at the top of the list though. Like having muscle on my body has transformed how I feel about it. Its power, its capability, it I have this delusional sense that like I can genuinely do anything. And I know you don't agree with that, but like I think that is where a lot of my confidence comes from is I can do things and I don't feel limited by my body or what I believe I'm capable of. Like I genuinely feel I can do anything and I want everybody to feel that so badly. And it starts with strength training. Like genuinely that's where it started.
I just want to reiterate that hot girl summer is a mindset. It's a mindset. It's feeling strong. It's feeling capable. It's feeling energized. And it's feeling confident in your body.
And brave.
And if you can wear the clothes that make you feel good, plan experiences that have nothing to do with aesthetics, have nothing to do with the way you look, you're going to have a fantastic summer that has nothing to do with your body.
Let's go have a hot girl summer.
Woo! Hot girl summer!
That's it for today. Take what you need from this episode, leave the rest, and trust that you're doing better than you think. Thank you for being here. If you liked this episode, please rate and review. We'll talk to you soon. And until then, keep feeling good.